This video shows you how to modify an Azure App Registration to add new app permissions after you add new Graph API calls to your code. The Android mobile app used in this video is a Microsoft Office 365 sample that uses the Microsoft Graph. This sample shows you how to add Graph API calls to your app. The video walks you through modifying an Azure App Registration to add a new permission. The Connect sample authenticates a user and then sends an email on their behalf. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. I'm going to show you what you need to do to add another feature from the Microsoft Graph API. I'll add a button to the app that goes out and gets the number of messages in the user's inbox. To do this, I need to add code to the app in 4 places and then add an application permission, or scope, to the app's registration on Azure. Let's get started. Okay, let's go ahead and add some code into the app. We'll start by adding the REST call into my REST interface. This is a retrofit call, and that actually gets the message count. Now I'll go to my controller and I'll add a method that makes that REST call. And then I need to go to the main activity, and I'm going to add a button to call this logic. I'll go to the activity code behind, and I'll code a click event handler. And that's the only code I need to change in the app. Now let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so I'll start by connecting to Office 365, and I'll go ahead and sign in as the administrator. Okay, now that I've signed in, I can try to get a message count. And it gives me a 403 forbidden error. That's because I haven't added the new scope yet, so I need to go to the Azure Management Portal to do that. But I'm going to need the client ID of the app so that I can find the app in the registration. So I'll go to my constants Java file, and I'll go ahead and copy the client ID to my clipboard. And now over in the Management Portal, I'll choose applications my company owns, put that client ID in, and then search, and there's my app. So I click on the app, and I choose Configure. Now I'm on a screen that allows me to add scopes when necessary. So there's Microsoft Graph, and I'll find the scope that I need, which is, I believe it's read mail. Yes, it is read mail. There it is. Now, how did I know that was the right permission? Well, if I go to the documentation for the API, and you can see that one of the prerequisite is that I've got this scope called mail.read. So that's how I knew which scope to add. All right, so let's go back to Azure and make sure that's checked, and now I'll save that change. This will take just a minute. Okay, now that it's saved, close these warnings here, and I'll go back to the app. Now I need to, I'll start the app again, but it remembers my last connect status, so when it launches, it'll launch with me connected. But I don't want to use the app in this way, because really what I need to do is get a new authentication token. So I've got to disconnect, and then I'm going to connect again. I can sign in as the same user though. Once I've reconnected, I'll have a new token which represents the new set of application scopes that I've requested from Azure. And that will allow me to, as you'll see in a moment, it will allow me to read mail, or in this case, read the number of messages that I've got. So let's press that button again, and there as you can see, I've gotten my messages. Okay, thanks very much.